Today on Movies from the Deep, I'm going to be covering a funky little feminist dystopian neo-noir surrealist and sort of erotic character study called Domino. You know, I have an enduring fondness for movies like this, ones that are trying to be really high concept with all these different mashups of genre, but also trying to be artistic and meaningful. And yes, I am saying that it is trying for a reason, but I'll get to that in a moment. Domino is about Domino, played by Bridget Nielsen, a music video director who finds herself feeling lonely and unable to connect. She's sick and tired of the crap she gets from all the men in her life, and she wants something better. She wants to find love. She is also directing a music video about Billie Holiday because
all her life she did nothing but reveal her weaknesses and sing about the fragility of love.
That's an interesting premise for a sci-fi noir, right? Yeah, well, the pieces are all there. You've got the funky beeps and whirly boops in the background. You've got the Star Trek doors, and some strange, almost unexplainable elements.
No. Are those men?
No, they're not.
But mostly, everything looks cold and Spartan, despite Domino's killer outfits, and the 40s future vibe is fantastic. It reminds me of Blade Runner in that sense, where the great pleasure of the film comes from the beauty of the place that surrounds the story. It's obviously done with only a fraction of the budget, but it's done well, and is the absolute strongest element that keeps me coming back to this film again and again. That element is primarily of Anima Sethi, who started a career as a music video director in Italy before she started making films. I'm guessing that explains the inventive and beautiful look of Domino, but beyond that, Massetti was always politically or socially involved throughout her career. She made PSAs, documentaries, and in 2015 she created the website Women Occupy Hollywood. There's more. She is diligently working on various projects to this day, but I think that helps to contextualize the feminism of Domino. And Domino absolutely is a feminist film. It rejects any Hollywood-style plot devices and pacing, and it announces this by giving no easy explanation of empowerment. It frames it as an internal debate and a subtle disappointment or pleasure of the main character who is constantly searching and finding no easy answers. There's this idea of coming in the movie.
Victor asked me if I came. I didn't answer. When you're in love and you don't come, it's okay. You can handle it. Love conquers all. But if you're not in love, it's just the whole scene becomes unbearable.
Domino keeps turning this idea over and over, and it's laid out on the table for possibly a brain-racking philosophical debate. Or maybe just noise. Thing is, when we get into it, Domino is poorly paced. It has long stretches of unengaging monologuing and weird logic jumping. It often juts into a beautifully stylized, surrealistic bit when maybe it could have done with a little bit more focus. And it tends to over-explain when it could do more with less, and it tends to not contextualize when it probably should. As you can see, it comes across as overly ponderous and indulgent. But the thing is, beyond the pacing, the allure still endures. It's not just the production design, but because the film comes across as genuine. Massetti has made a partially autobiographical work with this film, and it shows. She was perhaps too close to the material, but the larger plot does make sense if you give it patience. And what it showcases is a woman who is tired by the expectations being set upon her and disappointed that she is viewed merely as an object to be kept. Because she is an artist with deep passion for her ideas. And these ideas keep blending and morphing with reality to the point you know she's not going to settle for a lover. She wants something bigger. That something is the exploration of the meaning of love. By the end of the film, Domino is content with being alone. She literally ascends to a higher plane and meets with the people in her imagination and walks off into the clouds. She talks about her projects and seems to be content with not just being alone, but with her creative spirit. It does leave a question of, what's next? Is this isolation really all that healthy? Is she fooling herself? It definitely doesn't give a hint either way, but it does mean the end of one part of her journey, and thus the film. So when you put it all together, it feels like a bit of a muddle, and that's okay. It's brimming with ideas, one after another, and It does feel like it's a film in debate with itself, like it hits some excellent points, turns them over, prods them, and pokes them, and leaves them alone unfinished. But the strangeness of it is really cool. It attempts to mash genre with autobiography, and attempts to philosophize the pieces, and it leaves them in the air, hanging and loose while looking ravishing. It's weird, it's difficult to love, but it is beautiful.